This report will be a treat especially for dental technicians because it deals with outer units for hybrid fixed, removable restorations. Albrecht Schenk, a master dental technician and the owner of a dental laboratory, demonstrates step by step the efficient and expert procedure. Albrecht Schenk also gives practical courses on this subject. The telescopic crowns and channel shoulder pin attachments produced exhibit remarkable precision. You are sitting, as it were, in the front row. You can look forward to brilliant images and excellent tips for use in your day-to-day work.
This video aims to provide technical instructions for fabricating telescopic crowns and channel shoulder attachments as removable sections of fixed removable restorations. The author gives detailed explanations which provide clear instructions for practice work. The adjustable attachment is inserted into the precisely drilled hole in the cantilever bar with the aid of tweezers. Pattern resin is used for fabricating the patterns of the removable sections. The required amount of resin powder is put into one mixing vessel and a few drops of monomer are put into another. The brush tip, brush size 6 is best, is moistened with the liquid, making it easier to take up the powder. It's important that the monomer takes up as much powder as possible to keep setting shrinkage to a minimum. To avoid trapping air, the mixture is applied in thin layers, using only small amounts. This procedure is repeated 2 or 3 times, depending on the thickness of the anatomical wall. The build-up of the last layer determines the external anatomical shape. Removal aids are added at this time. The removal aid is later used to provide a support surface for a dental hammer inserted in a handpiece. So it should look something like this. The basal surface of the cantilever bar is sealed. This prevents finning during polymerization of the resin. The anchorage band crown is built up using the same layering technique. It's also sealed in the disto-proximal area. It's also provided with removal aids, which should be placed diagonally to one another. Removal aids are, of course, also placed on the telescopic crown and channel shoulder attachment with cantilever bar. Since the setting time for the resin is only 4 minutes, the fine excess in the marginal area can be removed very quickly using a knife-edge, high-luster polisher. The motor speed should not exceed 10,000 RPM when using the silicone polisher. The basal surface of the cantilever bar can now be exposed. The smooth flush junction forms the basis for the accurate fit of the attachment. Any excess is easily removed using a conically shaped polisher. It's also important to ensure an absolutely smooth junction occlusally. Both sections are easily separated using a mechanical dental hammer placed on the removal aids. After reassembling the two sections, the basic anatomical shape is prepared using a finishing cutter. A medium-cut parallel cutter is used for finishing the marginal area. A smooth junction is achieved without any pressure using a low motor speed. It's essential to check the smoothness of the junction. This is carried out using a probe. All removable sections now have a basic anatomical shape. The inside surface of the anchorage band crown has a smooth, homogeneous structure. The resin's excellent reproduction of detail provides precise information for fabricating technically accurate removable sections. The resin section is now covered with zinc stearate powder and the excess blown off. The friction is now checked. After assembling both sections, the removal force is tested, as it's essential that the removable section slides uniformly and smoothly over the entire milled surface in order to achieve perfect metal friction. The removable sections should be thoroughly checked on the articulator before they are waxed up. Attachments and ideal anatomy are not a contradiction. Both can be achieved by strictly adhering to each working stage. It's absolutely essential to recheck the occlusion and all lateral and protrusive excursions in the articulator. The wax surfaces are polished using cotton wool. Wetting agents should not be used, as they can affect the surface of the resin. The removable section patterns are now sprued. The sprues are 3 mm in diameter and 6 mm in length. This distance between the patterns and the 4 mm thick horizontal bar prevents heat building up and causes a rough surface. The number of sprues used depends on the mass of the pattern. A size 3 casting ring must be used to ensure a high-quality casting surface and a perfect fit, which both save a great deal of time. The adjustment screw is removed using a screwdriver. The Patrix anchor is removed from the threaded sleeve just as easily by unscrewing it with the custom instrument. The threaded sleeve is made from a platinum iridium alloy, which makes it suitable for casting onto. A space maintainer is screwed in to protect the thread and retain its exact position in the investment. The pattern is waxed onto the horizontal bar with the aid of tweezers. All the sprue connections are lightly run round with wax. The horizontal bar is in the thermal zone in the centre of the casting ring, and the patterns are in the upper third. The same procedure is followed for the anchorage band crown. It remains sealed in the disto-proximal area during casting. All removable sections are now sprued and prepared for investing. Expansion of the investment is regulated by varying the concentration of the mixing liquid. Only patterns requiring the same investment expansion should be invested in the same casting ring. The investment must be left to set in a pressure unit at 6 bars for 60 minutes. The rings are preheated with sprues facing downwards in a fan-assisted furnace with heating elements on 4 sides. If the heating elements are exposed, the expansion values have to be reduced accordingly. Preheating begins in a cold furnace. The 4th stage should only be used with high gold content alloys. A copper-free alloy, for example main bond KF, is melted under CO2 shrouding gas in a vacuum casting machine. The vacuum is built up after the preheated ring has been inserted. When the casting drum is rotated 180 degrees, the molten metal flows into the mould by the force of its own weight. Solidification of the casting is regulated under pressure at 3 bars. The sprue button points downwards during cooling until room temperature is reached. To produce an accurate casting, it's essential to follow the guidelines exactly. Keep the investment in a no-frost refrigerator at 19 degrees Celsius. Mix the investment in a vacuum mixer. Investing under pressure restricts the setting expansion. Use a fan-assisted preheating furnace heated from 4 sides. Use a program which heats in intervals. Use a vacuum pressure casting machine. Allow the casting ring to cool with the button pointing downwards. Do not sandblast unfinished castings, as this would roughen their surfaces and damage the milled inner sections when fitting down. A direct comparison of the resin surface with the casting surface shows how precisely the investment reproduces detail. The removable section of the attachment is examined both optically and with a metal probe for roughness or micro blows. This has to be completed before the initial check of the fit. The removable section of the anchorage band crown is powdered with zinc stearate. This greatly reduces frictional resistance and prevents the metal surfaces being roughened. The cast section has almost the same uniform friction as the resin section. The excellent fit of the occlusal and marginal joints is the result of strictly following the individual working stages. Some individual micro blows are visible in the marginal area of the telescopic crowns. These are carefully removed using a 1 mm parallel cutter. When removing the blows, it's absolutely essential that the hands are well supported and that the handpiece is running perfectly concentric. The amount of friction is now adjusted using a mechanical dental hammer inserted in the handpiece. The high spots and friction areas can be seen by dusting the attachment sections with zinc stearate powder beforehand and repeatedly sliding them on and off. High spots show up dark and shiny. They are eased using a 1 mm parallel cutter. Frictional surfaces remain matte grey and are not adjusted. Friction is now rechecked using the mechanical dental hammer. Any high spots which appear are again removed. The inside surface of the removable section is smoothed using a small brush to ensure even permanent friction. Only low abrasion polishing agents should be used. After cleaning the removable sections, the surface is again powdered with zinc stearate. Now the final check can be carried out. The result is gentle and uniform friction. The sprues are now cut off and reduced. After the two attachment sections have been assembled, they can be polished. All occlusal junctions are smoothed and made flush using a conical finisher. The fixed and removable sections form an anatomically functional unit. The occlusal surface is smoothed using a glass fibre brush. A 1.5 mm diameter parallel cutter is used for preparing the marginal area. A very high degree of precision is achieved in minimum time by correctly preparing the resin section and because of the accurate expansion and reproduction of detail of the investment. The marginal junctions are finely smoothed using 400 grit sandpaper. They are smoothed parallel to the direction of fit using a low motor speed. Fine 800 grit abrasive paper is used to smooth and improve the surface further. Polishing paste is used for final polishing at this stage. The same procedure is of course followed when finishing the telescopic crown and the channel shoulder attachment with cantilever bar. It's best to finish the anatomical details of the outer surfaces using an abrasive knife edge wheel polisher. All removable sections are then placed on the master model and prepared for soldering. All fixed sections must be securely retained on the milling dies to achieve ideal overall friction. The easiest way to do this is with a little sticky wax. The milling machine is now used to check that all fixed sections are exactly parallel. The soldering surfaces of the removable sections are checked with thickness foil to ensure that there's enough space for solder to flow through. The removable sections are secured individually onto the model using sticky wax before being connected. A metal wire bent to fit over the occlusal surfaces provides a stable support. Each removable section is individually fixed with resin. This prevents the slight contraction of the resin affecting the fit. After the resin has set, the sticky wax is removed. The connected framework can now be prepared for soldering. All soldering gaps, as well as the cast threaded sleeve of the adjustable attachment, are sealed with modelling wax. Standard procedures are used for fabricating the investment model and soldering. The adjustable attachment is now screwed into the finished removable framework. First the Patrix anchor is screwed in, then the adjustment screw. A fixed removable restoration is the modern solution for the treatment of a partial dentition. Telescopic crowns and channel shoulder attachments play a prominent part in this treatment. Fabrication of both the fixed and removable sections of these attachments has been demonstrated in great detail in this video. Practice makes perfect and turns into experience, which is one of the essentials for lasting success in dental technology.